Alright, to be honest, this Alldocube X1 was honestly very, very promising, but it's really hampered by a couple of things, not least of which is the price of this thing. So let's get right down to the full review of the Alldocube X1. Alright, let's start with build quality of this tablet over here. And I have to say that this tablet is actually fairly well built. It's a metal on the back with plastic top and bottom for reception. And it feels very good. It's fairly light, but it still feels very durable. I have to say that this metal does pick up fingerprints. As you can see, it's already very smudged and it looks very dirty, even especially when you have light shining on the back of the metal. So that's one thing that you do have to contend with. That being said, this is a fairly well-built tablet. You have metal on the back, and it's nicely chamfered on all the sides as well, and the tolerances are fairly tight as well. And here you have the power as well as the volume buttons. You have your headphone jack as well as your camera and LED flash over here. And finally, here you have your SIM slot. You also have your speaker grill, and finally your USB-C port. And on the front, I'm going to turn on the tablet and you will be able to see the bezels over here. As you can see, that is a fingerprint sensor. And as you can see, the bezels here are actually fairly decent. Top and bottom bezels, they're a little bit big, I have to say. Side bezels are actually a little bit big, but they are not bad at all, especially for an 8.4-inch tablet. I would have liked to see the bezels on the side reduce a little bit, but then you really have to make do with what you have here. So it's not overly big, but it really could be smaller as well. Alright, let's take a look at the display, and this is a very, very good LCD display. It's not the best. I will reserve that for other screens, but here the LCD display here is actually very, very good. It looks very nice, and as you can see, the color reproduction on this screen is absolutely fantastic. Look at the detail on the dog's ear. You can see the individual hairs on the dog's ear as well. It looks so good. The display really looks very, very good. Look at the detail on the hazelnut as well as whatever this little thing is. I think it's cinnamon. And look at the color saturation as well. It looks like real chocolate. And here, look at the cake, the dog, the other dog, the red panda, maybe? I don't know what that is. But look at the detail on the tree trunk over here. It's absolutely amazing. This is a very, very, very good LCD display. And I have to say that, take a look at this picture. Usually there are other screens that will wash this out a little bit because of the white background, and you really can't tell what's in here. But as you can see, the color reproduction on this burger is absolutely amazing. Not to mention, it looks delicious. So this is definitely a very good looking display. And look at the flowers over here, and pink nails, kind of weird. And finally, this rotisserie chicken, which looks delicious as well. That's not all fun and games for the display, though. There are areas of the display which really could be improved. I mean, for the next iteration, not actually for this tablet itself, and that would be the touch sensitivity. It's really not that good. If I don't touch it hard enough, it actually won't activate. So as you can see, I'm going to press down really hard, and you can see that it follows my finger pretty well. But if I touch it, nothing's actually happening, right? Because I'm not touching it hard enough. So I have to say that they really should put a bigger or better touch module in this tablet to make the touch sensitivity better. I would say it's good enough for most people, but if you are used to like an iPad where you can, lightly drag your finger across and it kind of, realizes what you're doing, you're not going to get that here. You're going to have to press the screen, moderately hard to get it to register your finger. So that's really the downside of this display. It looks great, but the touch sensitivity is really not the best. All right, let's talk quickly about the audio quality on this tablet. There's only a single speaker, so it's not stereo speakers on the actual tablet itself, which is a little bit disappointing. But I have to say that the audio quality here is actually fairly decent. You get decent highs, decent mids, and you get a little bit of bass. It's not, copious amounts of bass, but it's definitely enough for the regular user. So I'm going to play this clip, and you'll hear what it sounds like from this YouTube clip over here.
Left this job half done. Can we fix it? Yes, we can.
Ain't nobody finishing nothing.
I'm sorry. Who are you?
We're from the union, and we say you don't have the right equipment for this job.
We have all the equipment we need.
Really? You got a talking briefcase full of $100 bills over there?
No, but okay, that's whoa, hey.
Can I play too?
Alright, talking about battery life here, it's not the greatest, but it was more than I was expecting. I was expecting somewhere around, 4 hours of screen on time, because this is a very big display, and it's also, 2560 by 1600, which is an absolutely very, very high resolution as well. But I was actually able to get, somewhere around the neighborhood of 5 to 6 hours of screen on time with a Ford, I think 4,500 milliamp hour battery, which is really not that bad. When you're looking at the grand scheme of things, this is actually quite a good use of screen on time. I have to say that this was not, this was without a SIM card in it because, this doesn't actually work in Canada, and I'll talk more about that later. So no SIM card, just working as a regular tablet, and I get 5 to 6 hours of screen on time. So definitely very decent battery life from this. And you can also charge it fairly quickly. It's not quick charge, but it's pretty quick through the USB-C port at the bottom as well. So battery life here is okay. It's not amazing, but it's also not that bad either. All right, so this tablet here is running Android 7.1 Oreo, so it's definitely not the latest Android version. Sorry, not Oreo, Nougat. Android 7.1 Nougat. But I have to say the performance here is actually decent. I was expecting something not that great from an old Helio X20 in a very high resolution, but honestly, using the tablet is actually pretty good. The main reason why you're going to think this tablet is slow is not because of the performance, it's because of the touchscreen, which I did talk about before. The performance here is actually pretty decent. Let's open some apps and you'll see how fast it is. As you can see, there is a little bit of lag. It's really not that much. So the Helio X20 is definitely a very capable processor, even now in 2018 as well. So I'm going to open up more stuff. Oh, come on. As you can see, the touch screen is really not that great. You got to touch it right. And if you have calluses on your fingers, that's going to make it even harder to touch as well. So let's open one more thing. Let's open YouTube. And you can see that there, it's basically instant. I mean, you do see a little bit of lag, but it's really not that bad. So this is definitely a fast tablet in terms of use. Your main, the main issue why this is going to be slow is because of the touch sensitivity here. All right, let's talk about the fingerprint sensor. It's actually decent. It's not super fast, but it's also not super slow either. For a tablet, I think it's a good enough fingerprint sensor for you to use it, especially because it's on the front. I know some tablets have fingerprint sensors on the back, like the Teclas T10 Master. I really think that's the wrong decision to use. You really need a front-facing fingerprint sensor because of how big the tablet is. So as you can see, this is a good fingerprint sensor for a tablet, and it works pretty well also. All right, let's talk a little bit about gaming. Again, you have the Helio X20 processor along with a very, very high resolution screen. But I have to say that gaming here is actually decent. You have to turn some settings down if you want to get good frame rates. But as you can see here, playing Asphalt Extreme at, it's not the highest setting right now, but it is on highest frame rate, or at least the regular frame rate of 2560 by 1440. So it's definitely very good for gaming. If you want this for a gaming tablet, that is, you're going to be able to get good frame rates on the very beautiful screen. So I have to say that this is going to be a good option for you if you want to play games for on a tablet. All right, talking about connectivity on this tablet, you can use SIM cards to be able to, get connectivity on this tablet, but the network band supported on here pretty much makes it impossible to use in USA, Canada, pretty much North America, South America, and I think Australia as well. Absolutely no way you're using this. India also. Europe, it will support stuff in Europe, but really, I don't really recommend using this as a phone or a tablet. There just aren't enough network bands for you to be using it. So you really shouldn't be using this as a phone, but you should be using this as a tablet. This is pretty good. The Wi-Fi connectivity is decent. I can get, 3 stories up, and I'm still getting pretty good speeds. Not full speeds, but good speeds on this tablet as well. Now let's talk about the camera here. The camera here is horrible. It's worse than the Xiaomi Mi Pad 3, which, to be honest, the Mi Pad 3 had a good camera for a tablet, but for a phone, that still wasn't a great camera, so this is even worse. The pictures on here are pretty bad, and I really don't recommend, anybody use this as a, camera, so yeah. All right, so what are my thoughts on this tablet? And I have to say that this Alldocube X1 does all the tablet things very well. It's got a good screen, it's got good performance, battery life is okay, audio is also pretty good, so it's a decent multimedia device if you want it. And it's also well built, and it feels pretty good as well. But it doesn't do any of the phone things well. For example, if you want to, put a SIM card in this, it's not supported pretty much anywhere in the world, which kind of sucks. Camera sucks, network connectivity in terms of network bands, the support also sucks. So this should be used as a tablet instead of a phone. However, in terms of price, this is, around $270, 240 maybe. There are a lot of tablets out there that are, close. They might not be as good as this tablet, but they are pretty close in terms of, performance, screen size, audio quality. and they're a lot cheaper. For example, the Lenovo Tab 3 8 Plus, that is a very good tablet for the money. It's a little bit boring, which is what I said in the review, but I really recommend that over this. That being said, if you do want to get this, do know that you will get a good tablet. You're just paying like more money than you really should for a tablet like this. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you like this video, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell icon beside the subscribe button to be notified of any new videos that I upload as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.